Hey guys, so I am back with another Real Housewives of Atlanta season 12 review. This review is for episode 8. If you did not catch my reviews for episodes 1 through 7, please go check those out, and I will have the link to my review for episode 7 in my description box. So this episode starts with Mike, and he asks Cynthia's family for their blessing in order for him to propose to Cynthia, which I thought was really old school and actually really sweet of him because most men don't do that anymore. So it was good that he actually took the time to do that for Cynthia. Now, I think that it's good that he's asking Cynthia to marry him, because if he didn't ask her, she was probably going to end up asking him, because she's been really, really thirsty to get engaged. And so I think that it's good that he's finally doing it. Now, Mike ends up going with Noelle and his two daughters to the jewelry store to pick up Cynthia's engagement ring, which it was a really nice ring. And I thought that it was really good that he included his daughters and Noelle in the whole engagement process, just because the fact that it's a blended family. It's hard sometimes for a blended family for everyone to really connect with one another. And so I thought that it was good that he made sure that the children were a part of things. Now, Mike said that his daughters actually really like Cynthia. His daughters actually said that they like Cynthia better than any other woman that their father has dated, that they've met. And so I thought that that was good, because that shows that, they're already moving in the right direction in their relationship. Now, Noelle also said that she really likes Mike, and that she would not even think about getting married unless it was a relationship like her mom and Mike's, because she could see that her mom's actually really happy, whereas when she was with Peter, she wasn't happy at all. It looked like she was literally always stressed. So I'm actually happy for Cynthia, but I'm glad that he's getting it over with, because if he didn't propose to her, she was going to end up proposing to him. So Portia ends up having Dennis over for his birthday. She gets him a little cake, and when he shows up to the house, he comes there with a bouquet of flowers for her. Now, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows exactly what to do to get back into Portia's good graces, and that's the reason why he got her those flowers, which she seemed really excited that he got the flowers for her, which is definitely a sweet gesture. Every woman likes to get flowers. Well, most women like to get flowers from their men, but I think that he's doing it because he knows that that's going to help him in order to get back in a relationship with Portia again. He even complimented her and told her that she looked good, and told her who was she trying to look good for. And I just think that he's a smooth talker when it comes to Portia, and he knows exactly what to do in order to get her flustered and make her want to be with him again. And I honestly think that they've been sleeping together, because they were way too friendly in this scene with one another. Production actually asked Portia in her little interview if her and Dennis had been sleeping together. Now, she said no, but I think that she was lying. I think that her and Dennis definitely have been sleeping together, and that's the reason why they were being so friendly in this scene, because it didn't look like they just had some therapy session that was really awkward with one another. It looked like they've been happy this entire time. Now, she's preparing for the girls' trip, and she wants to make sure that Dennis is going to come to the house to see Pilar while she's gone. He said that he was going to. I think that he's really trying hard to get back in a relationship with Portia again. He even looked down at her hand. She's not wearing the engagement ring because he took it back from her, but he told her that he was going to upgrade her engagement ring, and I just feel like they're going to be back together before the season is over. So Cynthia ends up going to this little cafe, and she looks gorgeous from head to toe. Hair looks great, makeup looks great, outfit looks great. Now, she ends up FaceTime with Eva, and she tells her that she's meeting out with Marlo to find out if Marlo is the one who recorded her, because Giovanna said that she wasn't the one who did it, even though Giovanna lied, because we all know she's the one who recorded her, because when she went out with Nene and Marlo, Giovanna said that she had proof that Cynthia was talking crap about Nene. Now, Marlo ends up showing up, and she tells Cynthia how she's annoyed at how Kenya interrupted her event, and said that Kenya was being very distasteful. Now, I didn't feel bad for Marlo when Kenya did that at her event, and the reason why is because I don't really like Marlo. I feel like Marlo can dish it, but she can't take it, and I feel like she's done a lot of messed up shit to people throughout the years that I don't feel bad for her at all. Do I think that Kenya was being petty? Yes, but I was here for the pettiness in this particular situation. Now, Marlo ends up taking shots at Kenya and Cynthia's friendship, saying that Cynthia never checks Kenya. But Cynthia clapped back at her and told her that she never checks Nene either. And, Marlo tried to say she does check Nene, just not in front of everybody. It's like, okay, so how do you know that Cynthia doesn't do the same thing with Kenya? I don't know why everybody thinks that Cynthia, being a grown woman, could check another grown woman. It's like, she can't check her. She could tell Kenya she's wrong all day. Kenya's going to do what she wants to do. So Cynthia ends up telling Marlo about the recording and asks her if she's the one who did it. And, Marlo acted like she was offended because she was being accused of doing the recording. She even got a little bit choked up. I didn't believe her. It looked like it was fake, like she was faking tearing up. Like, I don't know. I just don't really like Marlo. But I do think that I do feel bad for her that she was getting, accused of doing the recording, even though she's not the one who did it. But she was saying that she wants to find out who did it too, even though, like, come on, Marlo knows that it was Giovanna. Like, seriously. So Marlo ends up saying that, she feels like she's hurt because she is not in her to do something like that, to record somebody, which I don't think she would record somebody, but she is really messy. So I'm not surprised as to why she was being accused of it. Now, Cynthia ends up believing Marlo for the time being, okay? And Cynthia tells Marlo that she's invited to her wine cellar launch and tells her that Nene would have been invited if she didn't leave Marlo's event so soon. As we know, Nene left the event really soon because she said she was going to end up getting into it with Kenya if she didn't leave. Todd ends up taking Candy to see a location for a Mexican restaurant that he wants to start, and he's telling her all his plans for this restaurant, and Candy is completely over it because he hasn't done anything with the building yet, and she's tired of sitting around waiting for it to happen because it's like he goes at a slow pace when it comes to, he'll purchase these locations, but he'll take his sweet time to get everything started, and so she's tired of him doing that. Now, Todd says that he's tired of Candy doubting him because he feels like he hasn't given her a reason to doubt him yet, because he said that, once he starts those businesses, they're always successful. Now, Candy tells him that he's been trying to have them do too many businesses and not doing anything with them yet, and she's tired of it because she feels like he's trying to put too much on their plate, and that the only time they ever get into arguments is about business, and that their relationship has become mostly just a business relationship and the romance is pretty much gone. Now, Candy feels like he's been trying to make a lot more money ever since her mom was saying that Todd was only with her for her money, which I can understand why he's trying to do that, because he really wants to shut Candy's mom up. Candy's mom is really messy. She talks a lot of shit, and, I can understand why he would want to shut her up. Now, she tells him not to talk to her like he's more successful than her, and I felt like that was a low blow, that she took at him. I feel like she shouldn't have said that on camera, at least, because I just don't feel like that was the right type of, shot to take on camera. I feel like, she said that she takes low blows whenever she gets into arguments with him. So, at least she was honest about the fact that she does that, but I feel like that was a real low blow. Now, since she feels like business has taken over their personal life, he agrees to take her on a date. I hope that they end up having a good date, and I feel like they could really make everything work out, make their money, and have their strong family and successful romantic life, because I like Todd and Candy together. I actually really do. The odds were stacked against them when they first got together, and it seems like they're the only ones, from the Real Housewives of Atlanta franchise that are actually doing well. So it's the day of Cynthia's wine cellar launch, and she really wants everything to be perfect, and I can understand that. I feel like she's a really smart businesswoman, because every time she wants to start a business, she puts her mind to it, and she does it. Now, Kenya and all the other ladies are getting ready to attend Cynthia's event. They're trying to make sure that they look good because it's an important event for Cynthia. Now, Todd and Candy end up showing first, and then Marlo ends up showing up behind them. Portia shows up with a damn hangover, okay? And she tells them that she's hungover because she went to see Dennis for his birthday the previous night. They must have had sex with one another. Like, come on. She came in glowing. She came in talking about she has a hangover. Obviously, they were drinking and they have feelings for one another. They probably had sex. And everybody was looking at her like with the side eye, because she was saying all this stuff about how she wasn't trying to make Dennis think that they're going to get back together anytime soon, but yet she's sleeping with the guy. It's just like, I feel like they're already back together. Now, Nene ended up sending a card to Cynthia with a heartfelt message on it, and you can tell Cynthia is shocked, and she gets emotional about it, and I really do wish that Nene and Cynthia would work things out, because I really honestly feel like they care about each other a lot. I do. I feel like they have a really intense friendship and they have an extreme connection with one another. And the fact that all these emotions go on in their friendships, like, they really need to figure out what they need to do to work things out, because neither one of them want to be done with each other completely. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they can work it out, because you could tell Cynthia wants to be friends with Nene. You could tell Nene wants to be friends with Cynthia. They just don't want it to be the same toxic friendship that they had before. And so, Portia messed up the moment, okay? She messed up the moment with some shade because she felt some type of way about Nene at that point, which I thought was funny. But it's like, girl, don't mess up her moment, okay? She's having an emotional moment because her old friend, sent her an emotional letter, okay? Relax. Just let her have her moment. Nobody's trashing you or side-eyeing you because you just slept with Dennis the other night. So relax, okay? Giovanna and Kenya end up showing up, and Kenya invites Cynthia and Candy on a triple date because her husband's going to be in town. Now, Kenya reads the note from Nene in a mocking voice, okay? And Cynthia takes the card back from her, and she feels some type of way about Kenya reading that letter like that because she feels like it wasn't the time or the place for Kenya to do that. I feel like there's a lot of tension in the friendship between Cynthia and Kenya. I feel like because Kenya's mean to Cynthia a lot, and I feel like Cynthia lets too many things slide. And like I said before, I feel like Cynthia needs to learn how to speak up, and if she feels like she's being disrespected, she needs to let her friend know that she doesn't like being spoken to the way that she gets spoken to by them, and maybe they'll be able to fix things. Now, Cynthia says to Candy and Kenya that she doesn't know who recorded her, and she had asked Marlo said it wasn't her. Giovanna says it wasn't her, so now she's completely confused. Now Kenya tells them that she believes the one who recorded Cynthia is at the event, and Cynthia seems like she's shocked, like, really, you think that the person who recorded me is at this event? It's like, girl, yeah, Giovanna did it. Now, Kenya says that she feels like Mike is going to propose to Cynthia. She says this to Cynthia right in front of Candy. Now, Candy feels some type of way about Kenya saying to Cynthia that she feels like Mike is going to propose to her because Mike had told Candy that he was planning on proposing to Cynthia at this wine cellar launch event, and she ended up sending a text message to Kenya telling Kenya about the whole thing. And so she feels like Kenya kind of messed up the surprise by, saying that to Cynthia, because now Cynthia is expecting that he might possibly propose instead of being completely surprised about the whole thing. And I agree with, Candy. Candy was pissed about that. She was going in on Kenya for doing that, because like, why would you want to spoil the surprise for your friend? And sometimes I feel like Kenya's not really Cynthia's friend, because I feel like some of the things that she does to Cynthia makes it seem like she's not really her friend. It's like, why would you want to ruin such a big surprise when it's something that she really, really wants? It's like, when it comes to a proposal, it's like, you shouldn't even want to know when it's going to happen. You should just let it happen. And so Candy ends up telling Kenya that next time she tells her something, she needs to learn how to keep her mouth shut and not say anything about it anymore. And I feel like Candy's not going to tell Kenya anything anymore, because obviously Kenya can't keep her mouth shut. And I feel like Candy should definitely not tell Kenya anything anymore, not anything that she doesn't want to get out. And so Eva ends up showing up last, and surprisingly, her and Marlo are cordial with one another, and so is Eva and Kenya. I thought it was good that they were all able to be cordial with one another. Even though I am here for the drama on the season, I think that it's important for them to be cordial with one another when it comes to certain types of situations, and this event is really important for Cynthia, and so I feel like it was definitely good that everybody was able to be cordial with one another. And even though there was some type of tension in the room, everybody was able to act accordingly, which I think was definitely important. At first, Cynthia was like not believing that Mike was going to propose to her, because she said her mom wasn't even there, and if he was going to propose to her, her mom would have been there. But her mom ended up showing up, so that made it even more real that, Mike might propose. And I do feel like, Kenya was wrong for messing up the surprise. Now, Mike is nervous, and everyone's there, including Cynthia's family. Cynthia goes and gives her little speech, and they ask Kenya if she wants to give the speech. Kenya says no, she needs to not speak. She definitely needed to not speak anymore, because she already spoke enough at this event. Like, she said enough. So she says no, and Eva ends up doing it. She gives a nice little speech, and I actually like Eva and Cynthia's friendship. They're both models, and I think that, they're a good little team together. Now, Mike says, I would like to propose, and everyone looks shocked and surprised, and then he goes, oh, I'm sorry, a toast. I meant I'd like to propose a toast. And I was just like, okay, when is the proposal happening? Now, his daughter and Noelle end up giving him a bottle to pop, and the bottle has a question mark on it. And so everybody knows that he's about to pop the question, which I thought was really cute and clever that he did it that way. And I love that the daughters were included in this. Now, he pulls out the ring, and it's a really nice ring, and he ends up proposing to Cynthia, and it was really sweet. And she accepted the proposal. She was really emotional about the whole thing, even though Kenya ruined the surprise. It was good that she was still, emotional and happy about it. Now, I love that Cynthia's mom was able to be there to see it. I really do, because she looked like she was really happy to see how happy her daughter is. Because after seeing her in that really toxic relationship, is really nice for her to be able to see that her daughter is in good hands and that she's happy. Now, they joke that Cynthia doesn't have to be thirsty anymore because Cynthia was really, really thirsty to get engaged. She was saying that if he didn't propose to her, she was going to have to propose to him because she really wanted to get married. So now she doesn't have to be thirsty anymore. Well, Kenya and Mark are meeting up with Cynthia and Mike and Candy and Todd for a triple date, and it's really awkward between the two of them. It really, truly is. Like, it's like they have zero chemistry with one another. It seems like they have zero interest in each other. They don't even seem like husband and wife nor boyfriend and girlfriend. They don't seem like they even have a child together. They were literally bickering this entire car ride. She told him that she told Cynthia that she thought Mike was going to propose, and he tells her that she spoiled the surprise, which she definitely did, but I feel like he never really has Kenya's back at all. Like, you could point out when somebody's wrong, but it's like he never has her back. They're arguing back and forth about whether or not she got a speeding ticket on the car. She says she didn't get a speeding ticket. He tells her that she needs to not be speeding in the car with his daughter in it. She says she doesn't. She's saying that they're both alphas and that one of them has to be passive, so she's the one who chooses to be passive. He's saying that they're arguing. She doesn't believe that they're arguing, and she feels like every disagreement they have, he feels like it's an argument. And so I just honestly think that their relationship is going nowhere at all. It's like, how did they even end up getting married in the first place? Todd and Candy come dressed alike, and I thought it was really, really cute. Even though they have their disagreements and they get into things when it comes to business, I feel like when it comes to their personal life and their romantic life, I feel like they have that on track. Todd and Candy are flirty. Mike and Cynthia are flirty, which I feel like that's how a relationship's supposed to be. I don't care how long you've been in a relationship with one another. I feel like the flirting should never stop. The dating should never stop. I just honestly feel like that type of stuff should never stop. And when it comes to Kenya and Mark, they were nothing like the other two couples that were there. They had so many issues. They looked like they didn't even care about each other. Now, Mark and Kenya end up showing up, and they all sit across from each other, from opposite spouses, like they do a wife swap, okay? And before Mark and Kenya ended up getting there, Cynthia tells them that she was bothered that Kenya kind of ruined the surprise. And I feel like, that's something Cynthia's going to have to talk to Kenya about, because if she didn't like it, I feel like she should not bury that inside. I feel like when she has an issue with Kenya, she needs to be open and speak up about it. Now, Kenya says that she's already wedding planning for Cynthia. And I'm like, girl, you and Cynthia have been having problems in your friendship. You can't be planning nobody's wedding when you can't even get your own relationship on track. Now, she talks about how Mark ended up proposing to her, and it was really weird. He said that she showed up and he didn't even know she was coming, and he grabbed the ring really quick. He didn't even get on one knee and propose to her. He didn't even ask the question. He just basically told her they were getting married. And I was like, what kind of engagement is that? Like, I don't want to be judgy on their relationship, because I feel like everybody's already judging them so hard because they don't believe that her and Mark really have a foundational relationship. But I don't know. I don't know about them. I feel like they're telling too much, because it's just making it worse and worse on their relationship. Now, Kenya says that their wedding day was the second happiest day of her life to her winning Miss USA. And I was like, wow, like her daughter didn't even make the list in the top two. Like, I'm like, why isn't your daughter, giving birth to your daughter, not in the top two of happiest days of your life? Like, and then her marriage to him is like, she shouldn't even be married to him if that's not one of the happiest days she's had. But the fact that her daughter wasn't on there, even Candy side-eye that. It's like, why isn't your daughter up there on the list? Now, Kenya ends up bringing up prenups, and Candy says that the prenup almost ruined her and Todd's marriage before it even began, but they ended up coming up with an agreement. I am on Candy's side with this. I think that if you are two people who have money and assets, I honestly feel like a prenup is definitely something that you need. I don't care if people say that it ruins the romance and the marriage. I don't think it does. I think it protects both people. I don't see it as you're planning for a divorce, but I feel like, it's protecting both people. And I feel like that it's necessary. Kenya and Mark don't have a prenup. She said that she wanted to get a prenup, but Mark was saying that he didn't want to have a prenup, and that if Kenya would have brought up a prenup to him, he would have never married her in the first place. And I just feel like the way he talks to Kenya is harsh. It's like he talks to her in a really rude way. Like, I can't even believe that he speaks to her the way that he does. And so Kenya says that she's worked hard for everything that she has, and Mark went below the belt like he does all the time. And she kind of laughs it off like he goes below the belt all the time in her little interview. And it's like, girl, it's not funny. He disrespects you. Like, why are you laughing about it? And I feel like she's laughing to mask the pain of it all. But it's just like, girl, your relationship is doomed. Now, Mark says that Kenya can take everything if they get a divorce, that he's built it all from the ground up and he'll build it all over again. And I just feel like he has a lot of anger in him. And I just feel like he just doesn't want to be with Kenya at all. And I'm just like, man up. If you don't want to be with Kenya, tell her you don't want to be with her anymore and get a goddamn divorce. He also says that he's been married before and he checks her. And he also said that he's not into like flashy stuff because he feels like, you know, Kenya's too flashy. She wants all these expensive things. And Kenya lets him know, she does check him a bit and lets him know that she worked for everything that she has and that she can buy whatever she wants to buy. If she wants a brand new car, she can get a brand new car. And he was basically telling her that her priorities are all messed up. Now, in some sense, I do feel like Kenya's priorities are messed up, but that's not something that you talk about in front of a group of people. It's really awkward and uncomfortable. Now, it's so freaking awkward, and it's the awkwardness between him and Kenya. He says Nene was nice to him and he likes her even though Kenya doesn't. And Kenya says that Mark was offended by Nene saying that Kenya was having a buffalo. And he was basically saying that respect is everything to him. And even though he was bothered about Nene saying that she was carrying a buffalo, that she apologized to Kenya for it. And so he let it go. And that just because Kenya has an issue with somebody doesn't mean he's going to. And Kenya told him that Nene never apologized for it, and that, and all everybody was looking at Mark like he was crazy for saying that, because it's just like all the other guys said that if their woman has an issue with somebody, they have an issue with somebody and they're not going to mess with that person either. And so I thought it was really telling that Mark said that just because Kenya has an issue with somebody doesn't mean that he's going to dislike them too. And I thought that was crazy because Kenya and Nene do not have a friendship at all. They don't like each other, and I feel like he should be having his wife's back and he doesn't, and that's definitely a red flag. Now, you know, that it was just such an awkward scene, and the episode cut there. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'm glad that Cynthia finally got the proposal that she wanted, because she's been very thirsty for it this entire season so far. I am looking at Mark 3 times sideways, because everybody would think that Kenya would be the biggest problem in her relationship, but it looks to me like Mark is the problem. For the most part, from what we're able to see, everything he said at this dinner were huge red flags and huge eye openers. I don't even know why they're together and why he even asked her to marry him if he's not interested in her, because clearly he's not interested in Kenya. I don't even think he loves Kenya by the way that he was saying things like, come on, you're saying that you're going to be cool with Nene even though Nene and Kenya are not cool, and Nene has said some harsh things about Kenya, as Kenya has said harsh things about Nene too. But Kenya's your wife, you should have her back, and it's odd to me that he doesn't. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Like this video, subscribe to my channel for more videos, and thank you to all my subscribers for the support. I appreciate you all, and I will see you in my next video.